Welcome to another special Eternal Format bonus video and the final video of the Eternal Format Marathon. Today we've got a pair of Eternal Format games for you, the finals of the October 2023 Eternal Format Tournament that took place at Dragon's Lair at Alamo Ranch here in San Antonio, Texas. It's Copperajah EX versus Pikachu V-UNION. If you're new here, you might be wondering what the heck even is the Eternal Format. In short, it is the unlimited format with a ban list. So this means the format features cards from the original base set all the way through to the most recent tournament legal set. Although it's an unofficial format, it's an incredibly fun format with a lot of rich deck building and gameplay experience to be had. If you're interested in learning more about the Eternal Format, you can do so at justinbasil.com/eternal. Up first, let's look at Pikachu V-UNION. This is a highly aggressive archetype bent on getting Pikachu V-UNION out and attacking as quickly as possible. With Battle Compressor, an item card that this deck runs 4 of, the Pikachu V-UNION player can search their deck for up to 3 cards and immediately discard them. In order to play a V-UNION Pokemon onto your bench, all 4 pieces of that V-UNION must be in your discard pile, so Battle Compressor makes getting them out fairly easy. Pikachu V-UNION is a 300 HP Pokemon that has 4 attacks. Union Gain, that for a single colorless energy lets you attach 2 lightning energy cards from your discard pile to Pikachu V-UNION. Shocking Shock for 1 lightning and 1 colorless that lets you do 120 damage, and if you flip heads on a coin flip, leaves your opponent's active Pokemon paralyzed. Disconnect, which I think is frankly the star of this Pokemon, which for lightning, double lightning that is, and 1 colorless does 150 damage and prevents your opponent from playing any item cards during their next turn. And then finally, Electro Ball Together, quite a name, which for double lightning and 1 colorless, so the same as Disconnect, does just a simple 250 damage. So Pikachu V-UNION has some decent attacks on its own, but it is not the only attacker in this deck. We also have Zapdos from Team Up, which does 10 damage for 1 lightning energy, which doesn't seem that interesting, but it also does 70 more damage if it has moved into the active spot on the turn that you choose the attack. It should also be pointed out that Thunderous Assault cannot hit for weakness. Not relevant in this particular matchup, but worth noting. But even if you'd normally be capping out at 80 damage, there's an item card called Electropower, which reads, during this turn, your lightning Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. If you're like literally everyone right now in standard format, you're thinking, this sounds very familiar. It's because in many ways, this is basically Power Tablet before Power Tablet, right? I think this is what Power Tablet's actually modeled after. There's of course stuff like Plus Power, which is very similar, but this is almost exactly the same. They're plus 30 for a special type of Pokemon. In this case, it's Lightning Pokemon instead of Fusion Pokemon, but again, same idea. What's more, each of the deck's attackers, or at least all the Lightning attackers, can have their attacks cost reduced by 1 Lightning, with the deck's stadium of choice, Thunder Mountain Prism Star. Now, there are 2 other attackers kind of worth noting here. Raichu V, which is pretty popular in Miraidon builds right now, can do big damage with its dynamic Spark attack, up to 60 damage for each lightning energy you discard from any of your Pokemon in play. And then there's also Miraidon EX itself, which does 220 damage with Photon Blaster. Miraidon, I think in this build is more for its tandem unit ability than its actual attack, and that lets you find 2 lightning Pokemon, 2 basic lightning Pokemon that is, and put them straight onto your bench. This means that not only can you find your key attackers, you can find supporting Pokemon like Tapu Koko Prism Star, which has the ability called Dance of the Ancients. Dance of the Ancients lets you put a lightning energy onto each of 2 of your benched Pokemon in exchange for sending Tapu Koko Prism Star to the Lost Zone when it is on your bench. Other cards in the deck are more focused on consistency, so stuff like Lapras and its support navigation Pokepower will let you find a supporter card. Squawkabilly EX's Squawk and Seize lets you discard your hand and draw 6 cards on your first turn. Azelf's Time Walk, super important for this deck actually, lets you find a Pokemon in your prize cards, so if one of your pieces of Pikachu V-UNION end up there, you can fish it out. And there's also cards like Computer Search and Forest Sealstone that just let you find a card in your deck. So overall, pretty consistent, super aggressive. That's Pikachu V-UNION. Up second, we have a vanilla build of Copperajah EX. Copperajah EX is a very bulky boy, especially for being a stage 1. It has 300 HP and an ability called Bronze Body that reduces any damage it takes by 30. Pair that with cards like Metal Goggles or Metal Frying Pan, also reduce the damage the Pokemon they're attached to takes by 30, and you're looking at an absolute behemoth that is incredibly difficult to take down. And most decks straight up will not be able to take it down in 1 hit. That lets you use cards like Crystal Cave to heal it just a little bit to force your opponent to take yet another hit to knock it out. It can be game ending, frankly. Just that little bit of damage healed from Crystal Cave can completely shift the game. The rest of the deck is built primarily around consistency with cards like Lapras from Legend Maker searching out for Jasmine, a supporter card that on your first turn going second lets you find up to 5 metal Pokemon for your deck, and that just makes it so you can set up. Zacian V also helps you draw cards and accelerate energy with its Intrepid Sword ability. This deck list was crafted prior to the increase in popularity of Ultra Necrozma in the meta, so this version of the deck is still making use of the Roxy engine. Ultra Necrozma put an end to that real quick because of Garbotoxin. Roxy says that you can discard any 2 Pokemon from your hand except Pokemon EX, that's big E, big X, doesn't care about little e, little x, or Pokemon GX. So as long as they're not Pokemon GX or big E, big X, you can discard them, and then for each one that you discard, you can draw 3 cards. And then there's Execute, which pairs up with that really nicely if you're not having your ability shut off. It has the ability Propagation that lets you pull it from the discard pile and put it into your hand so that you can just discard it over and over and over again, either with Roxy or with other discarding effects like Quick Ball. Metal Saucer accelerates metal energy onto one of your benched metal Pokemon from your discard pile, and thanks to special metal energy being a metal energy even when it's not attached to a Pokemon, which is something that is very atypical for special energy cards. Cards like Metal Saucer and even Zacian V's Intrepid Sword are able to attach that special metal energy because those cards do not specify that the energy that they accelerate has to be basic. Anyway, that's Copperajah. Let's move on to the game. Alrighty, we have Pikachu V-UNION on the right and Copperajah on the left. Looks like the V-UNION player is going to go first here. Little deck search, searching out a Miraidon and a Tapu Koko with that Miraidon's tandem unit. Also finding another Miraidon. Getting a Squawkabilly down, gonna have to nuke that hand at some point. Floatstone finds itself on both the active Miraidon and on the Raichu, and Squawk and sees, discards a Lightning Energy card. Battle Compressor finds 2 copies of Pikachu V-UNION. I have to wonder if one of those is prized. Discard an Iono. And it looks like it's going to be Copperajah's turn now. Do find that Lapras. Lapras is great for this deck. Lets him get Jasmine. You see a bunch of metal Pokemon there. That's going to make him able to set up quite quickly. You see a metal energy acceleration on that Luke Metal, and we're going to see the GX. Full Metal Wall is going to reduce the damage all the metal Pokemon take by 30 for the rest of the game, making them even more difficult to knock out. See a Glue Gun go down, that electric generator, finding a lightning energy rather, attaching it to that Raichu. Another lightning energy going on the Raichu. Tapu Koko Prism Star, accelerating some metal, or some, I keep saying metal, some lightning energy from the discard pile to some Pokemon in play, and we are going to see a knockout on that Luke Metal. That Luke Metal has been cut in more recent versions of this deck. Unfortunately, it just doesn't do enough, and is rather squishy for the format, which is wild to say. We see 3 Copperajah come down all at once, and a Metal Core Barrier, and unfortunately, there's just going to be a pass. Not enough energy in play to do much of anything, unfortunately. I see another attachment to that Raichu. Not doing anything else, just retreating into the Miraidon. Glue gunning it up again here. Missing though, not hitting an energy. Putting that Squawk into the active spot. Hoping to stall with that Guzma. See a Zacian V come down, and the other player also struggling. They do find a metal energy for that Zacian, so that is going to be attached to the Zacian V. But once again, we just see an attachment on the Squawkabilly. See some motivation there. Do see a couple of metal energy, a little bit of camera blur. And once again, we have Zacian is now fully powered up, so that is a threat at this point. That Squawkabilly is going to rotate, and a Zapdos is going to take that Lapras out. That is going to put the Zacian V in the active spot, which is kind of interesting, but probably maybe not as good as one might hope. The Guzma, though, is going to fix that, and that Raichu is going to be the victim of this knockout. That takes 2 prize cards for Copperajah. Interestingly enough, though, the Miraidon player is already quite low on prize cards. They've already taken a knockout on that Luke Metal and on the Lapras. That's 4 prize cards. They only have 2 left. They just have to be able to take 2 more, and they will take this game. We see a discard of another Pikachu V-UNION piece. Just a little 60 damage between those Electro Powers. Not really very much after all that reduction. 60 is not going to be remotely enough to be impactful, I think. See a Metal Saucer, another Copperajah getting very close to powered up. Yet another Metal Saucer. Copperajah is now powered up for real. A weak Roxy, only 1 execute for it, but there is a little bit of draw all the same. Just three cards off that We're going to see a retreat into the Copperajah and a knockout on Zapdos. Now the Copperajah player has just 3 prize cards remaining. Rhydon being retreated into a Zelf. At this point, it's just a stall and pray. Execute propagates once again to the hand. Have to wonder if a Roxy's coming, and there it is. This time with 2 execute. Beautiful. So a full 6 drawn off the cards there. See attachment of the metal goggles on the active and a metal saucer yet again. Wow, and a metal attachment for turn. The Zacian is once again powered up. Battle Compressor clearing things up, and Copperajah nuking the other side. It looks like we are going to have a scoop here. Pikachu V-Union player deciding that they can't recover after all that. That's the thing, is they had a very good start, but it just wasn't enough. We're ready now for game 2. All right, shuffle, 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 and here we go. Rhydon in the active, Cufant in the active, and this. Okay, so in the tournament setting here, there was a prize penalty issued for the Pikachu V-Union player. Unfortunately, they overdrew and saw cards they were not supposed to see, so there was a double prize penalty. So this game will end after the Copperajah player has taken 4 prize cards, or after the Pikachu V-Union player takes all of their prize cards. So the Cufant player, or the Copperajah player rather, has a 2 energy Zacian already on the bench. That is scary. But we did see a pretty good Battle Compressor discarding 3 pieces of Pikachu V-Union there. So I do think we'll be seeing the Pikachu V-Union in this game. We see Raichu and Tapu Koko Prism and an Iono. Iono very early, very quick. Hopefully very painful for the Copperajah player. We did see a Versus Seeker kind of fall out of the hand there. Oh, and we have Pikachu V-Union. Another Battle Compressor for good measure. We see an Electric Generator, finding an energy, attaching that to the Pikachu V-Union, getting it up and ready. Go, 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 Pikachu V-Union. Yet another whiff on that Electric Generator, it looks like. Oh, yep, there's some attachment from hand. Did see an Electric Power. And we're going to see a 4 Sealstone Star Alchemy for a card. Perhaps another Electric Generator? Nope. For a Floatstone, Pikachu V-Union going into the active spot with 2 energy on it. Going to just hit into that Cufant there and knock it out, leaving Zacian V by itself in play. Energy attachment on that active Zacian V, and a Guzma. Oh no, this Raichu V-Union is toast, as Zacian is going to go down. Pikachu V-Union remains, but that Zacian is going to tear it apart. That's 2 prize cards for the Copperajah player. Copperajah player deciding, you know what, I don't have to go through Pikachu V-Union. I only need to take 4 prize cards. It does not matter to me. Four cards drawn off that Iono there, and we see, what do we got? That Zacian V is knocked out. That could be a little bit of an issue. We see a Luxury Ball come down, getting a Copperajah. Copperajah evolving from that basic there. See a Crystal Cave, a Metal Saucer. Just need 1 more energy attachment. An N. An N is going to find 4 cards off of it based on the prize cards. Just need a Metal Saucer. I see one of the tool cards. I think that's Goggles, but not enough energy to do what it needs to do. Because V-Union player trying to find something here. Grabbing a Lapras from the deck. Getting an Arven, getting an Electric Power just to do a little bit of extra damage. Take a knockout on that Magearna. That knockout may be too little too late, even with 1 prize card remaining. Copperajah player just needs a Gus, and there it is. There's the Gus, there's the energy. Squawkabilly going to be the target there. Squawkabilly knocked out for game because of that prize penalty. That is it. That is over. Copperajah player has taken all the prize cards necessary to win. That's it for today's bonus video. Look forward to another Eternal Format video on Monday next week, as this whole Eternal Format thing returns to being just a once a week thing. This Friday, you can look forward to our live stream as we give our first impressions on Shiny Treasure EX, the set that will be releasing in Japan here next week, and will become part of our Paldean Fates in January. And the next week, you can also look forward to us beginning to test Paldean Fates. Hopefully we'll have some interesting cards to play with. Honestly, I think it probably won't be that many, but we'll try at least a few new decks out. Maybe give some of the bad decks a go for once. You never know. Sometimes they're a lot of fun. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the games today, and if you happen to find yourself in the San Antonio area on December 9th, you can join us for our next in real life Eternal Format tournament. Deck validation will begin at 11 a.m. and round 1 will start about noon. With that said, that is all for today. I'll see you in the next video.